Ever heard of a UFC champ who survived a motorcycle crash to upset the odds and shock the world? Meet Sean Strickland. Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm in a total vibe today, ready to spill the tea on some epic sports drama. So, let's talk Sean Strickland. Two-time UFC middleweight champion, jab first, defense first, and yes, a lightning rod for controversy. He shocked Israel Adesanya in 2023 as a massive underdog, lost the belt in 2024, took more heat than a group chat during Fashion Week, and then in 2026, he reclaimed crown by handing Khamzat Chimaev his very first loss. Sports headline heaven and PR nightmare all rolled into one. Let me set the scene with a little story. Years ago, I judged this charity talent show. Small stage, big egos. There's this one guy in a thrift store blazer, totally mid-energy. I'm like, okay, background extra number 12. Then he hits the stage and absolutely bodies Frank Sinatra. Perfect phrasing, swagger, mic control. The room goes silent, then boom, standing O. I felt that delicious mix of awe and embarrassment. Like, not me underestimating the headliner in a clearance rack jacket. That's the Adesanya fight 2023. On paper, Adesanya, who, quick refresher, is a legendary striker and former champion, was this style icon. Flashy footwork, raise at counters. Strickland looked like he'd show up with a lunch pail and a jab. And then, he just shut the party down. Dropped Izzy early, walked him down with that high guard Philly shell thing, and kept touching him with jabs. 5 rounds later, upset of the year. Moral of the story, don't confuse quiet for weak. Sometimes the thrift store blazer is hiding a world title. Okay, basics for the uninitiated. Mixed martial arts is striking and grappling from everywhere. Cage, canvas, clinch, chaos. The USC middleweight division is 185 pounds. Strickland comes from that pressure boxing school. Think chess, not fireworks. He's not trying to head kick you into the moon. He's trying to make you play his game for 25 minutes. His guard is like he's peeking over a shoulder shield, that Philly shell. He rolls off shots, checks kicks, parries like he's swiping left on danger. UFC's own numbers say his significant strike defense is around 61%, best among active middleweights. That's elite. Career speedrun. He turned pro in 2008, cooked on the regional scene as King of the Cage champ, jumped to the UFC in 2014, bounced between welterweight and middleweight, and then life hit hard. In 2018, a motorcycle accident in LA left him unconscious and needing knee surgery. 2 years gone. A lot of people don't come back from that. He did. In 2020, he wins twice in 2 weeks, yes, 2, and goes on a middleweight tear. There were bumps. He got iced by Alex Pereira in 2022, Pereira being a Brazilian knockout artist who later became champ. He lost a razor to Jared Cannonier the same year, but the volume and defense kept piling up numbers. He owns the most significant strikes in UFC middleweight history, and he's second all-time across the entire UFC. Work rate is his flex.
Now, the key faces in his story. Israel Adesanya, I told you, kickboxing realty, record smasher, style icon. Dricus du Plessis, South African pressure wrestler puncher. They had serious heat, even brawling in the stands in 2023 when UFC boss Dana White seated them suspiciously close together. Drama. Strickland lost the belt to Dricus by split in 2024, lost again by decision in 2025. Then comes out Chimaev. If you don't know him, he's the Chechen-born wrecking ball who was unbeaten and fought like a horror movie villain. In 2026, Strickland beats him by split decision to reclaim the belt. Wild arc. And in between, he smoked Anthony Hernandez, an American contender, on an 8-fight streak in 2026 and even got a 6-figure bonus for it. Big statement win.
Empathy break. Coming back after that crash. Imagine the first spar after you've been flung off a bike. The noise, the speed, every flinch screaming, "Remember me," and your job is to hold the line behind a jab while a trained killer aims at your head. That kind of composure is like high-key terrifying and also inspiring. You don't do that without a dark engine of discipline. Now, the messy part, Strickland's mouth. He said homophobic stuff in 2022, went on anti-trans riffs during 2024 fight week, regularly dunks on women's sports and even women's voting rights. Big yikes. And in 2026, he threw a slur at Bad Bunny, who, quick ID, is a Puerto Rican pop superstar and the halftime show headliner that year. I'm not co-signing any of that. Free speech doesn't mean free from consequences. It kept him in tabloid cycles, it also hurt people. That duality matters when we talk legacy. And for context, Joe Rogan, UFC commentator and podcaster, has hyped Strickland's defense, even talking about a strike-counting mouthpiece in sparring. So we have the oddity of elite craft plus a chaotic public persona. Welcome to modern sports, honey. Quick tech nerd out. When you watch him, it looks almost boring until it isn't. He's corralling you, not chasing. He checks kicks, skims shots off the shoulder, and peppers you with a jab that's less bazooka, more drip torture. Over 5 rounds, the numbers stack. Against Uriah Hall in 2021, he attempted a silly amount of significant strikes, like 400 plus. What you're seeing is math disguised as a fistfight. Alright, let's unpack the judging chaos, because this is the juice. MMA scoring is round by round, 10-point must, boxing style, and it is shockingly subjective. Strickland's career is basically a case study. In 2014, he beat Luke Barnett by split, but every media outlet I saw had it for Barnett. In 2022, he beat Jack Hermanson by split, even though basically all media scored it for Strickland. One judge, Sal D'Amato, went the other way, and people were like, huh. In 2024, he beat Paulo Costa by split, and media were unanimous for Strickland. Split decisions follow him like paparazzi. My take. We need transparency and consistency. I want either open scoring, scores revealed after each round, or at least standardized explanations published post-fight. Give us judge training disclosures, criteria quick cards, even a half-point system so not every close round feels identical. If a fighter wins a round with 100 jabs versus someone landing one big wobble, tell us how you valued those. Strickland's style is precision and control. If that doesn't read on a judge's internal vibe check, he gets punished for being subtle. That's not a sporting outcome. That's a taste test. And then there's the commission drama. In 2025, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, basically the Vegas fight police, suspended him for a melee at an amateur event after a fighter taunted his corner with a, crotch chop. Suspension, fine, all that. It expired by year's end, and he jumped right back into big fights. It's the dual narrative. In the cage, clinical, outside, hot mess. Beyond the regulatory stuff, culturally, that 2023 upset of Adesanya is one of those moments that makes sports intoxicating. The underdog rewrite, we love a plot twist. It made coaches rethink how a jab and guard can freeze a world-class kicker. And it reminded fans again that the loudest aura can still be solved by the quietest geometry. I think that win upped the stock of every so-called boring technician in MMA. Defense is a vibe what ruins your favorite highlight reel. Strickland also gets real about his past. He talks about a violent childhood and says MMA rerouted him. In 2024, on a podcast called This Past Weekend, he shared that his father died of cancer after long-term addiction. It doesn't excuse the harmful things he said, but it does reveal the mess of a person trying to steer the chaos. Humans are complicated. Fighters doubly so.
Okay, pause, because the ending note is everything. In 2026, after all the splits, the suspensions, the headlines, he beats comes out Chimaev, unbeaten juggernaut, to reclaim the middleweight title. That's a movie arc.
If you wrote it in a script, your producer would be like, dial it back, babe. No one's buying that. And yet, here we are. Next week, we're diving into another controversial sports figure who makes as many waves outside the arena as in it. Oh, and yes, I will bring receipts.
So that's the tea, folks. Until next time, keep those jabs sharp and your drama even sharper. Later.